You perfect. Okay. All right. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, let me do an intro and then we'll get started, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Welcome to Turning the Tide. This is Candace Salima coming at you from the heart of the Rocky Mountains. And today we have got musician Shaun Barrowes, who is visiting with us from Los Angeles. And we are going to be talking about some great things. And Shaun Barrowes, if many of you remember, he was first introduced to America when he was on American Idol. And he did make it to L.A. I don't know, Shaun, did you get that Hammer Hands moniker from Simon, or did you already have that?
Let's see. No, I didn't get it from Simon. I actually got it from some fans in Utah. But I'm trying to remember if it was before or after American Idol. I want to say it was after.
Oh, okay. All right. And so, it was a great thing. I remember when you were on there, and you were my husband and mine's one of my favorite ones. So
Yeah.
Anyway, I was really delighted to find out you were from Utah. And when I got to meet you and you and I have been working together off and on since then, it's been a great privilege. Yeah. So
yeah, likewise.
Yeah, you have got exciting things going on. So why don't you tell us about your move to L.A.?
Well, yeah. So I moved out here, and a lot of great things are happening. I'm working with a producer who works with Interscope. So I'm meeting with Interscope Records in either next week or the week after. But this producer, so that's one thing. He's worked with Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Carrie Hilson. He heard my song "Live for Music" and said that's a hit record, and he just immediately took me on. And so that's always a great sign, because that means I don't have to pay for my next album pretty much. He's just going to produce it, and as well as on top of that, I've been working on a bunch of duets. I got featured with on this new album with Bappi Lahiri, who is a Bollywood legend. He's been on hundreds of Bollywood films, and he wants to take me on tour with him to India and to Dubai and a few other places.
Wow.
And then I did a duet with this Costa Rican pop star named Debbie Nova, and she's touring South America, and we'll probably do some shows together in Central and South America. And then I've assembled a team of really talented people who just want to work with me, and they're all my booking agents pretty much. I've got about 8 booking agents who are currently scouting out the country, trying to find the colleges that are the most interested. We're still working with high schools, but we decided not to perform at the high school anymore. We're performing at a college, so it's a lot easier for the high schools to be involved. They don't have to stress out so much. There's not nearly as much for them that they need to do. They learn one song and then they perform in the show. And that's it, pretty much. And then
just in case people don't know, because I've got a whole new audience here,
yeah.
Plus my old audience. Why don't you explain what you've been doing with the high schools?
So, I saw that the budget cuts were happening. High school music programs were getting downsized or cut. And a lot of these programs have gone to private funding only, parents funding their own show choirs and things like that. And I decided we needed to do something to help. These kids need these programs, and I've seen firsthand from some of these schools. I visited high schools, and I performed at the schools, and I donated the money to their programs. And we were able to raise over $50,000 last year. I recently returned from Boston, where I donated a check of $10,000 to a specific school so they could buy risers and music and everything else. And it's been a great experience. One, I've seen quite a few different things come from this. One, I visited a school for the second time just to see how the students benefited from the program itself, not just from the money, but from the actual concert that I put on. And there were 2 students that stood out to me. One of them actually got off of drugs because we featured him as a soloist last year.
Wow, Shaun, that is awesome.
Yeah, he actually stopped taking drugs, decided he wanted to pursue music because he discovered this new talent. He joined the choir, joined all the other music groups, and now he's in college, and he's studying music in college.
Shaun, that is wonderful. And that is what you wanted to do. You not only wanted to save the music programs in all these high schools across America, you actually wanted to change lives, and it sounds like you have.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why. That's what I wanted to do more than anything else, was inspire these kids. So yeah.
Oh, that is wonderful, Shaun. I'm glad to hear that. So is that the only high school you've gone back to? Have you had a chance to go back to any of the others?
No, not yet. We had to push back the rest of the tour so we could line up. Just make it a little more organized since I've been changing locations and changing teams with with my whole with my group, my ensemble of booking agents and managers and stuff. So we pushed everything back. So we'll visit a lot of those high schools again in the next school year.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, you have got a pretty exciting concert tour coming up.
Yeah.
That you mentioned to me on Facebook, which is why we're doing the interview. Why don't you share with us how that came about, what it is, and what the purpose is?
So we're basically upgrading the last tour. We're doing colleges, and we're actually going to end at Carnegie Hall, which is
wow.
Which is huge. That's kind of a dream come true for me.
Oh, that's huge, Shaun! Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, that's going to be big, and I'm hoping that the Carnegie Hall gig opens up all the other major concert halls around the country. Because I know for sure if we sell that show out, we'll definitely be able to do that, and we'll be able to perform at the Sydney Opera House and Walt Disney Concert Hall and everything else.
Okay, what date will you be at the Carnegie Music Hall so that everyone can put it on their calendars right now?
Yeah, right now we haven't set the exact date yet. We're still going back and forth on them on the exact date. So I'll have to get back to you on that one. It's going to be in May of 2013, so it's a ways away.
Oh, good. Then everybody can save up their money.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be an expensive one. They can fly out to New York, and they can make a trip of it.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I have a sweet, sweet friend who is a New York Rockette, so they can go catch your concert, and then they can go over to Radio City Hall and go see the Rockettes. That would be a great weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, Shaun, let's talk about what is coming up for you. Now, that concert, is that starting in 2013 then, the 50 states?
No, that's the end of it. That's the end of the tour. We wanted to cap it off with Carnegie Hall. Okay,
so when do you start with the 50-state tour?
So that's September of next year. So right now, we are actually, that's why there's actually still some openings if anybody wants to bring us to their college. We still have a couple spots that we haven't confirmed yet that we can go back and forth on if there's a college that wants us more.
What
right now we have
still have open?
Yeah, we have over 100 schools that are interested right now, so we have more than enough.
Okay.
But since we haven't confirmed all the dates yet, we won't actually confirm all the dates until probably the end of January. So if anybody
colleges and universities can get in there still. How do they contact you, Shaun?
Yeah, they can contact any of my booking agents. Probably the best way is to do it through the website's contact info. liveformusictour.com.
Okay, liveformusictour.com. I will post that on the interview when your interview airs, Shaun. Okay, tell us about this latest CD that you're making.
So with this producer, we're doing a new album of what I'm calling epic pop. What I used to call cinematic pop, we decided to coin it as epic pop now.
And, that's the new one, huh?
Yeah, it just keeps on changing. But it's all brand new songs that I'm writing with. Some of them are co-writes. One of them was a co-write with this Debbie Nova from Costa Rica. So we're doing some Spanish and English songs. I've decided we're going to have all my songs will be in English, but there will be a Spanish version of probably 3 of them.
Nice.
And that way we're actually going to, hit up Mexico. This 50-state tour actually ends up, or 50-city tour, it started growing, and now we've got 10 countries added to it as well. And so that portion of it will start even earlier than that. We'll probably start in May with Mexico, with Australia, with Brazil, Puerto Rico, Japan, and then a few other countries that have shown some interest. But the album itself, there's songs that I wanted to really hit a nerve with the country, with the world, with inspiring music that people can really resonate, with. And so one of the songs, for example, I wrote for my mother. It's called The Brightest. And I sang that song actually recently over there in Utah for BYU TV. I sang it in Spanish. And it's a very strong ballad. I played that one for my publicist and a few other people, and they really feel like this could be kind of like a "You Raised Me Up" type of song.
And so it's going to be on the new album?
Yeah, and it'll probably be one of the singles that they push to radio.
Nice.
So,
Oh, Shaun, congratulations. You deserve it. You have worked very hard, and you have done also, not only have you worked hard, you've also done a lot of charity. And
thanks.
I can't imagine, anyone deserving more the success you are receiving right now. That is wonderful, Shaun.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
No problem. So, okay, so you have a new CD coming out. You have the 50-state tour coming out. You have a Carnegie Hall event, concert coming up. You have, what else? Is there anything else?
Yeah, well, and actually, just a couple of the other songs on the album. One of them, I mean, I know that you could really appreciate this. There's a song called Casualty, which is, as you could probably imagine, is about the troops.
Does that have a video already?
No, that's Sail Away Soldier.
Oh, Sail Away Soldier. Okay, so Casualty, tell me about it.
So Casualty is taken from the perspective of somebody serving. One of my close friends is a helicopter pilot in Afghanistan, and actually my tour manager, he served 11 years in the Marines, and
awesome.
So we're it's basically a song that talks about. I mean, it poses the question: are you worth fighting for? It's basically saying, if I die before I wake, would it all be worth it? If I'm dying for this cause, what am I really dying for? Oh. And, because you look at America and how divided we've become with politics. Yeah. And you see all the problems that we're facing right now with our economy, but also with morals and with everything else. It's just, I just had to kind of think, I was thinking from the soldier perspective, like, what would they really be thinking when they're looking at our country, the country that they're far away from, and they're hearing from the news all these different things about the Occupy Wall Street and the Occupy everything else, and also the Tea Party and all these different things that are all these protests coming out, all these people.
Yeah, but the Tea Party loves the military.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
You know that.
Oh no. I was part of the Tea Party.
Yes. Anyway, go ahead.
No, the Tea Party is the patriotic side, in my opinion, and the Occupy Wall Street, they're kind of like, I don't think most of them even know what they're doing.
I think you're right. Their message is so fractured. They want like everything in the world and want to work for none of it. And then there are some who are actually there with some valid complaints and some valid worries, and they're misdirected, meaning that targeting Wall Street, they should be marching on Washington, D.C. Yeah,
exactly. Or, if there's anything specific, like if it has to do with student loans, that's like, from what I heard from, like, I think there was a few people saying they should be marching in specific areas, like maybe their college or maybe the specific bank, if they're really complaining against that.
Well, they don't want to pay for their student loans. Well, that's ridiculous.
I know.
They got an education, they borrowed the money, the bank gave them the money on the good faith that they would pay it back, and they got an education out of it. Pay it back. I paid mine back.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I wonder and worry about our military as well, Shaun. I keep them in my prayers morning and night, and I want them to know that there are those of us, most of us here in America, who love and appreciate the great sacrifices they make on our behalf.
Right.
And is that what Casualty is all about?
Yeah, that, and also, but not only the appreciation, but also just how we appreciate it. Are we really making America great again? Are we really living to the fullest? That's like, are we living the life that they are dying for,
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. When do I get to hear it, Shaun?
This album comes out in the spring, so it'll still be.
You have to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a song that I felt like, it just needed to be written,
Yes. Oh, without question. And I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear the new CD, Shaun. I love your music. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Yeah, thanks.
And I was out on your blog and noticed you hadn't posted anything since July, so you need to get on that right away.
Oh yeah, we're gonna update that to just recreate it into a full-on website again. I'm just waiting on I'm waiting on like either Interscope Records or this new investor or one of my sponsors.
Understood. But I noticed that the latest post was that Hop, Skip, and a Jump, which, as you well know, is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Was on Drop Dead Diva. How did that come about?
Oh, they just, I have my music kind of everywhere. They came to me and just said, "We like this song. We want to put it on our TV show." So
can't blame them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite, though.
I've got a good chance of getting a song on a really big movie next year too. And I'm kind of crossing my fingers about that. It's a movie called The Hunger Games.
Oh yes, that's based on a very popular book series, wildly popular.
Yeah, so it'll be a big movie, and I'm waiting to hear back from that. It looks like I'll be working on. There's 2 other movies that I'm going to be working on for the music, and there's also a director and a filmmaker who have come to me and they said they wanted to actually make a movie around some of my songs.
Awesome.
And wanted me to actually act in the movie. So.
Oh, are you ready for that? Are you taking acting lessons?
I will be for sure. I'm going to start pretty soon here. That movie won't shoot, I think until the summertime. So I'll have a good 6 months of acting lessons in me before.
Okay, Shaun, make me a promise right now.
What's that?
That you will not become a what's the word? That you will not lose your mind during the acting lessons, and that you will hold on to who you are and keep that strong, so that as you become more and more famous, you can be an example.
Oh, I definitely will.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely hold on to my standards.
Well, yes, and everything that you're doing, the messages in your songs are so beautiful and so poignant, and certainly Sail Away Soldier, as you mentioned, and we'll be playing that as we come in after the break.
Right.
The message of your songs is so powerful in so many ways and so positive. It's never filthy. It's never dirty. It's never negative. It's just always asking questions and giving just beautiful music with beautiful words. And I appreciate that greatly about you, Shaun. So I don't want you to ever lose that.
No, well, I've come this far. There's no way. I think that's part of the reason why it's taken me this long to make it, is because no matter what, I'll always remember that I had to go through all of this. And the reason why it's taken this long is because I've turned down those offers that asked me to compromise my integrity.
Good for you.
And so it would be all for nothing if I still sold out, later on. It's like, why did I put myself through all this torture for so long if I could have just sold out earlier? So I'm not going to sell out now. I'm not going to lose my integrity now after all this.
Good.
It's and actually that's what the song that I wrote for my mother is about, called The Brightest.
Mm-hmm.
That's it wasn't. It's a very different kind of song. I decided to write a song about. Well, I'll just kind of recite the lyrics of the chorus. It's I cannot fail to be a constant driving force. Your eyes expect of me to raise the brightest torch.
Oh,
so
chills. I got chills.
So yeah, you can. It just kind of like that. That's the idea, is that no matter what happens, I can't fail to be this constant driving force. And just like it's what I kind of said it like, your eyes expect of me. She doesn't even have to say anything. I always just know what she's thinking when she looks at me. It's like I need to be the strongest and the brightest that I can be.
Yeah, I saw an article in one of the local newspapers today that talked about how cohabitation is becoming the norm and marriage is kind of fading away. And everything that you just described of your mother and the relationship you have with your mother is what marriage and family is all about. It's about that unbreakable bond and that expectation of the parent to the child, and the child's desire to live up to those expectations. And to never ever shame the name that they've been given. And my brain's been on that a lot today, Shaun.
Yeah, well, I was just one of the singers I was just with last Saturday night. We were singing a new song, and then we were just talking for a while. And she's not religious, not spiritual, and she just one of the things that she said, she's been living with her boyfriend for 6 years. And she said, I told my boyfriend I'm never getting married. I just told him I'm never getting married and I'm never having kids, and he's okay with that. And I was like, wow, why would he be okay with that?
That's sad.
It really is. It's just, right now she's still cute and pretty and everything. And she's young. They're both young, and so it's like, but as you get older, you kind of, I was just thinking about that. You really need to have that, that solid connection, that solid bond that says, I'm not going anywhere, Because, especially with how untrusting people can be today, how many people cheat on other people, and how many other people just, all the temptation that's out there. You really need to have that commitment from each other.
I agree. I agree with you completely. For me, you talked in your song Casualty, you talked about America and what's going on in the heart of our soldiers as they look at what's going on here in the country as they're overseas, risking their lives every day away from their families and away from their jobs that will most likely not be there when they get back. And it is something that I really believe with my whole heart, that if we do not repair the family unit, if we do not put families back together and strengthen them as strong as they can possibly be, I don't see how America can survive.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about music, Shaun. Let's talk about that for a few minutes before we go to break. And you talk to me about how music can help. How can music help to heal this huge rift in America, do you think?
Music is the strongest factor in influencing emotions. It's the most direct channel to the heart. And when it comes to convincing someone to stick to love, and stick to or rekindle love, which is definitely emotionally driven, music can speak to that. It can speak that language of sincere and deep love over lust, over the feeling of being in love. There's a lot more to it than that. And I think music also provides a therapy for a lot of people who are going through those hard, difficult either periods in their marriage or difficult divorces or things like that to reunite with somebody else. I know my sister is in that boat right now, and there's certain songs that can really mend that broken heart, so that people can move on and find someone else and reunite again, so that they can continue pushing to build a family, because it does take more than one person to build a family, and some people it's just out of their hands. They do everything that they can, and still people that their spouse cheats on them or whatever, does something really selfish. It's such a sad thing to see this over and over again. I think music can help. If we have more inspiring music in the world, if we have a channel where people can turn to, and then that way they know how powerful music can be, so that they actually start with inspiring music every day, or they tune to it when they know that they need it. They'll find that therapy that they need. They'll find that direction they'll need. They'll be in tune to make right choices, and I think that's the biggest difference is. When you're emotionally in tune to make right choices, you make right choices. If you are listening to, the wrong kind of music that's going to put you in a really bad mood, whether it's a sexual mood or it's an angry mood or whatever, you're more likely to make mistakes. You're more likely to, commit those errors that can't be uncommitted, that can't be repaired. Things like adultery. Things like, or things like just even falling for an addiction. There's a lot of songs that I feel, provoke people to, fall into that addiction. And there are songs that also, on the other side, help people to pull out of those addictions or avoid them altogether. So I think, by training people, by helping people understand the difference and giving them cool options, options that are popular. That's one of the things I felt like with the kids. You just can't sit there and say, this is a great song, this is inspiring, you need to listen to just this. If their friends aren't listening to it, they don't want to. And so that's why I've kind of insisted on pursuing the popular route, so that I could still, be cool with the kids, be popular with the kids, so that they hear my music and say, my friends like this too, this is great. And then they can be raised on inspiring music that helps them feel true emotion and yearn for true emotion, which only comes from the long-lasting relationships like a marriage and like, the parent to daughter or parent to son, relationship.
That is absolutely beautiful, Shaun, and you could not be more right. Why don't we go ahead and listen to Sail Away Soldier right now, and then we'll go to break right after that, and then we'll be back on the other side of the break. So you probably got about a 7-minute break. Okay, Shaun?
Okay, great.